I think honestly, that's this aspect. Like if we're gonna like the optimist to me goes, yeah, $50, Clair Obscur, $50. It becomes a real piece of marketing in a way where your game isn't 80 bucks and you can sit here and be like, guys, this is $50 and look at what you get for it. And then word of mouth spreads because I think I when I look at just the industry and when I talk to gamers, when I read the comments, like I think there's a general aspect that the price does set kind of an expectation, and lowering the price coming in at $50 lowers that expectation and allows you to over deliver on that if if the case is right. And then I think in several examples it's not going to be a one-to-one all the time, but Clair Obscur's delivered. Like it really is. Like this feels like a game that I would have paid 70 or 80 bucks for, but I'm happy to pay 50. And I actually, even though I have Game Pass and started playing it on Game Pass, I went and purchased the game because it's really just, I think it earned that money in my opinion. But
I want to point out one other thing with this comment. With back then, if a game was bad, you simply wouldn't see it. That's a lie, because in the mid to late 90s, if you had home internet access, there were lots of message boards and websites that would absolutely drag games. You could pull up old GameFAQ discussions from the Internet Archives or GameFAQs themselves and find people having discussions very similar to today, talking about sequels and new games coming out. And the discussion, it's not that it's different or that like people aren't calling out, things that suck now. It's that more people are doing it now. It's a pure like mass appeal kind of thing.
And workarounds too. Like I remember like there was a bug in a game that I had on like PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 or PSP, something like that. And it was like a known thing. And like there was forums where like, oh, download this save file. It's like right past that point. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like that was the only way you could fix it.
Yeah. I also think we didn't buy as many games back then. I mean, obviously we were mostly kids, so we weren't spending the money, but our parents weren't, because gaming was more expensive even back then when it comes to adjusted cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. A game that was $50-$60 back then is close to 100 or more. We rented a lot of games though. And I could tell you for a fact, as a dumb kid, I rented games that sucked, but I re-rented them because I loved the IP they were based off of. Right. So you talk about when the internet came alive, there was a stabilization and a suppression of the cost of games. I think that was good to grow the industry, but I think we've all grown up to buy more too, as well, which is I think interesting, right? But yeah, again, nostalgia plays a factor in everything, but I don't know if that means it's bad, right? So I mean, I want to go to the Nintendo world 100% because I love Nintendo, right?
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Go ahead. You did?
I got to go a few weeks before they opened. A buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I got early access. You should come." So me and my daughter went, and it's mind blowing. Like I think everybody should go. Like if you have the opportunity, absolutely take it. Because as much as like Disney is like the kid vacation spot, it's like, hey, all that stuff you've been seeing virtually for years is now like tangible, and it's mind-blowing how they built it out. Not to mention the rest of the park is just phenomenal.
Very cool.
That's all I have to say about that.
Let's jump into this comment from Zaza. And I'm not sorry, you two are the reason why gaming is going to collapse soon.
Can I get some context here?
This is
okay. I actually looked into this. Looked into this. There are statistics. 52% of households that bought a console in 2024 earned a minimum of $100,000 a year. So they actually do have some valid point to this. All right. It's not just totally like them being salty that they can't afford it. It is like literally a thing that's happening like globally. So, or at least nationally. So I get where they're coming from. But also it's their money, dude.
Yeah. Also, we're not the ones pricing it. Right. Yeah. We're not the ones saying, hey, let's make a game that costs $300 million.
Yeah.
And now we got to price it accordingly. And let's have a bad overhead in like 20 different locations, Ubisoft, right?
And maybe restart this project every 3 years and then finally release it a decade later and, and just 100 million.
early
Get
access
into a
over the last
lawsuit
10
because we
years and
stole
bring
all
in
our
billions.
content.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sensitive to those problems, but I also don't think so when it comes to talking about greed, I think greed exists in any industry, right? But I think there's a difference in talking about a company that makes something that isn't a necessity versus, let's say, a company that says, oh, I'm going to buy EpiPen and then mark it up and use my connections in the FDA that my dad is a senator and sits on the board of. This is Mylan Pharmaceutical in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's a client of mine.
Garbage person for that.
Yeah. They were a client of mine. I was sitting there one day when the FBI came in. A whole other story to that I won't get into, but I thought I was in trouble.
That goes back to wildly successful men, guys. We do stuff.
Yeah, we do stuff. The FBI came to my client. No, but I don't know if I could say a company that makes something that isn't necessary, as long as they're not like doing like truly dark tactics to get more money out of people that shouldn't, right? Like I have a hard time getting upset at saying, oh, well, that's greedy, but I don't need that, right? There's other things I can do. The fear of missing out, I get it, but I don't know. It's hard.
It's that same mentality when every time a new game is like when you're between generations and a new game is announced just for the new hardware, you get a lot of people that are like, I call it internet mad, because they're not really mad. They're just pretending to be mad, but they're internet mad. And they ask stuff like, well, why isn't this coming to like the previous thing? Or, you know, is there going to be a way to play this on the old system? And it's like, you're not genuinely asking that question. You're just mad that they made a decision to like put their game on new hardware.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to buy it because you know
Yeah.
you're gonna want to play it.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm internet.
Just like PlayStation 3 players in Final Fantasy 14.
Just like them. All right, guys, we're coming to the end of the show, and I like what you, Mark did last week while I was out sick, talking about like kind of wrapping up shows with what we're playing. Let's start with Scrag, dude. Like, what are you playing this week?
Well, I got time to play exactly one round of Elden Ring Night Ring this week. So
you still liking it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, like I said last time, it's very fast.
Yeah,
it's almost like a speed run, parkour, kill stuff as fast as possible. You know, I don't know. I probably won't play it a lot in the future, but I mean, it's fun for the little bit of time I get to play it now.
Yeah, I'm still curious about that game. I think if it comes on sale, you know, I would probably pick it up. It comes out on the Switch too. I'd probably pick it up just because I'm a sucker for that platform. Just that portability.
It may not, because they don't have any cross play.